Plastic and reconstructive surgeon Dr. Michael Obeng was called in.
The surgical team left this morning for
The mission team is comprised of 7 people, including Dr. Michael Obeng.
Dr. Obeng has reattached many fingers
Dr. Michael Obeng has been the chief of plastic surgery at St. Elizabeth Boardman Health Center
Davis and
since
his wife are
2007.
thankful for everything their neighbors and Dr. Obeng were able to do.
was born in Africa and arrived here by way of
Dr. Obeng and his team worked through the
Dr.
night.
Obeng moved to the States in 1993. He attended medical school and then took a fellowship at Harvard Medical School in Boston, Massachusetts. In 1985, as a child, it was uncommon to hear kids say they wanted to be a plastic surgeon when they grew up, but that didn't stop him from achieving his dreams.
My name is Michael K Obeng, and I'm the chief of plastic surgery at St. Elizabeth Boardman Health Center here in Boardman, Ohio. I grew up in Ghana to a very loving family. By Ghanaian standards, I was not rich and I wasn't poor. And I was in middle class because, we always have food, unlike some other kids who did not have food and clean clothes, but it was still very difficult, But one thing that I always had was the support of my grandmother, who encouraged me, who believed in me. Growing up in a medically challenged environment, such as Ghana, and witnessing all these diseases and horrific accidents and birth defects, and also the premature death of my grandmother and my mother, propelled me to seek a career as a physician and ultimately as a plastic surgeon. When I was growing up, about maybe age 12, Operation Smile visited Ghana. I had the opportunity to witness how surgery can change somebody's perspective on life. This is something that I would like to do, something that I want to do so I can help other people. One day I wanted to be a doctor. One day I wanted to be somebody great, somebody that people can look up to. And I would never forget when I was in 5th grade, one of my teachers gave a little pep talk about perseverance. The last sentence he said was, "Perseverance conquers all difficulties." And that phrase never left me. And ever since that day, I strive in all my endeavors to persevere. Throughout everybody's evolution, everybody's career, there are a lot of people who are going to discourage you, including your own family members. One of my uncles who live in Arlington, Texas, who is one of our breadwinners because, I didn't have a father who was in my life. He even discouraged me. He sent me a note, a form by which I have in my hand today. And, I will read part of the note to you. It said, "To Kwame, believe me," and he underlines the word, believe me. "If you go to the state without a scholarship, you may never get to see a school. You could put your future in doubt if you don't listen to me. No matter how bad Ghana is, it's better than the United States for your education." Notes like this, things like this motivates you. It kind of fuels the perseverance engine and it keeps you going. And I've kept it. I never threw it away. I would look at it and say, you know what? I'm going to chase my dream. America, everybody knows America is the greatest country in the world. So, even though I always wanted to come to America, it was a dream. It's always been a dream. The last 2 years of my high school, I just did not focus on schoolwork at all. I decided to just research into universities. I applied to several colleges. One day I went to a friend's house and I saw a brochure from a school called Midwestern State University in Wichita Falls, Texas. And, at the time, one of my uncles lived in Arlington, Texas. So I really zoomed in on that school because I figured if I had the opportunity to come to America, at least I'd be closer to a family member. And that was the reason why I chose Midwestern State University. So I went ahead and applied to that school, and behold and behold, I was accepted to that school. It was very difficult as a foreign student in America for the first time without any financial backing from anybody. I had to pay for everything, and it was very, very stressful, a lot of struggles, a lot of obstacles. There were nights that, I went by without food because I didn't have the money, until I discovered ramen noodles. I went to the dorm one time to visit a friend, and he made this stuff, and I said, wow, what's this? And it tasted good. So he said ramen noodles, and he showed me how to get it. I think at the time it was about maybe 15 cents, so I'll go there with $1, I can get 7 of them. And once I found ramen noodle, life became a little much better, And, also having to juggle 2-3 jobs, I worked throughout college. All these jobs, range from working at gas stations to being a teaching assistant, driving a school bus, all these obstacles you have to continue to move on and push forward, because I had a goal. I had a goal that, that I wasn't letting anyone going to deter me from achieving my goal. When I left Ghana, my grandmother had just had a stroke. She was paralyzed. This was very difficult for a woman who had been the breadwinner for, the matriarch of our family, not just me and my siblings, but my cousins, my mom, my aunts, and my uncle. This was our matriarch, and, she worked hard to provide for everybody. And for a person that one day just woke up with a stroke and couldn't do what she did, it was very tough on her. I went to school, and I worked harder and harder because, one day I wanted to be able to provide for myself, and more specifically for my grandmother. My grandmother never saw a penny of my money. It hurts me. I wanted to be able to buy my grandmother a house, buy her whatever it was in her heart. It was tough, but I knew that she was in a better place. My uncle in Arlington called me one night, and he doesn't call me that often, so every time he calls me, it means something is going on, or there's something is up. So one night after I had returned from the library, he called me, and his voice was very soft. Then it's a high school, just small talk, and I said everything's fine. And then he broke the news to me. Having a mother who's only 40 years old, dying, prematurely. It hurt so much that the people around me, my family, my cousins, my uncles, they were in a position to be able to buy a ticket and say, you know what, Michael, why don't you take this semester off, go home and help bury your mother. But nobody came. Oldest child, I was supposed to hold the torch. I was supposed to bury my mother, but I couldn't do that. I didn't have the finances or the resources. Even though my mom was not as instrumental in my life as my grandmother, it hurt a lot because now I had 2 younger siblings, and I wonder who's going to take care of them. They don't have a loving father. My mom is gone, so who will, take care of my siblings? But life moved on. It never stopped me. And to this day, it just hurts me so much. But you have to just forgive and just move on, And I never let that hurt me down. The dream about going to medical school and also, getting into plastic surgery, was a long shot. By all standards for a person like myself. When I got into medical school, it was another challenge. I did very well in my first 2 years in medical school. Plastic surgery is very competitive. You have to be smart, you have to know somebody. I don't know anybody. So when I decided to do plastic surgery, this after my second year. That year, the National Institute of Health came up with a new grant for medical students who were interested in academic medicine. I applied for the grant. I kept my fingers crossed, I kept praying, and one day finally I received a call from the NIH praying for, I believe, $37,000. Me getting into plastic surgery has a lot to do with me getting an NIH grant as a student. If I had listened to all these naysayers and all these people who discouraged me, none of my dreams would have come true. Towards the end of my plastic surgery training, I was looking to do a fellowship. One of my mentors was a hand surgeon, and hand surgeons always have jobs. So I decided to pursue a fellowship in hand surgery. And I thought to myself, I said, you know what? There's no better place to do hand surgery than Harvard. And it's funny, when I applied to Harvard, one of the guys that I was working with at the time, one of my teachers, said, they're not going to take you. They take their own, they take Ivy Leaguers. You never went to an Ivy League school. But you know what? I never listened to that guy. I went ahead and applied. I went up there to interview, and lo and behold, I matched. There's no better thing than to finish your education at Harvard. And the year I spent there, I met so many great people and so many connections. And that's when I was at Harvard, that's when the name Restore came to my head, meaning restoring emotional stability through outstanding reconstructive efforts.
First News on Fox.
Tonight, Miriam Hobbs tells us how a gifted doctor is making a positive difference here and all around the world.
Dr. Michael Obeng and his surgical team left this morning for Ghana.
Dr. Michael Obeng also runs a nonprofit organization.
Dr. Obeng helps patients in need of reconstructive surgery in other countries as well with his nonprofit organization, Restore Worldwide.
I always knew I wanted to start some type of nonprofit to benefit the people who were worse than me, the people who have been laughed at, the people who did not have any hope. Restore has been very dear to my heart. That's my existence. Coming out from nothing and being able to accomplish what I've accomplished and being able to give back. Because of what I do, now I can give back to the rest of the world. I can go back into communities where they are very underserved, where they don't have enough plastic surgeons, and patients have deformities and they are being ostracized because of their deformities. And Restore has given me that vehicle to be able to do this. So through that vehicle, I'm being able to go back and give to people who are less fortunate than myself. And right now, it's been great. I would like to see Restore grow bigger and bigger, to be able to reach more hearts, touch more souls, and restore more lives. I thank God very much for making my dreams become a reality. I've always wanted to become a plastic surgeon, and now with my training and where am I in life, I'm able to give back. I've been in Youngstown for the last 3 years, and it's been very, very rewarding. Great patients. I've done things that I've never thought was going to happen. Reattaching arms and other things, reconstructing jaws, using patient's own bone, and these are things that I never thought, I never dreamed about. I do both cosmetic surgery and reconstructive surgery. Cosmetic surgery improving the appearance of women's breasts through augmentation, reduction, liposuction, facial surgery, Botox, all these things, to improve the self-image of a person. People in your life, loved ones, friends, people that you don't even know, they are always going to discourage you. But you know what? Nobody knows themselves better than yourself. And you have to keep pushing on, regardless of the obstacles. You are going to have obstacles in life. That's part of life. But you have to keep on pushing. If you fall down 7 times, you get up 8. We've always heard the term, keep knocking. If you knock hard, somebody's going to open the door. And you know what? I still live, with that attitude that, you know what, I don't take no for an answer. You know, I keep pushing, keep pushing, and one day you emerge victorious. My life has been a life that you can't even fathom, you can't even imagine. There were so many strangers on the way who helped me out, from growing up as a child, to college, to medical school, and even to at this present time. So my goal in the next 10 years, when I turn about 50, I don't want to work for money. I would like to be able to, spend 2 weeks out of the month going to different parts of the world, trying to restore hope, function in aesthetic form through Restore. What I would like people to expect from me is to be able to encourage people, is to be able to motivate people, is to be able to give hope to people, and is to be able to restore lives that have been shattered through reconstructive surgery.